Hi.
Wait.
We can cut it out. I'm
Okay.
Echo Allen, and we are back with Allana Pratt. We're going to talk more about the sex in sexy. So, do you have sex often?
Well, it depends. Sometimes with myself,
Uh-huh.
more often than not, because I'm single.
Mhm.
Had some great dates, little relationship here and there.
Mhm.
My sex life, my what would I word? My capacity to have pleasure with sex is about like way up here compared to way down here.
What do you mean by that?
When I began my journey as a sexy mom expert and as a woman sexually, it was all about pleasing the man. It was all in my head. Maybe I got off using a vibrator or something like that, so it was only like a clitoral orgasm. So now I'm at the place where I can orgasm just dancing and breathing.
Nice.
And
I've had that moment dancing. It's been great. Just dancing, being in my own body, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, what was that?
yeah.
It's only happened twice, but I wasn't intending on it. And I was just fully like just receiving spirit in my body and feeling the music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
it's great.
So to women who are like, well, I want to do that or I want to feel that, I want them to know that it's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had sacred dance practice for years now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the way of letting that amount of energy build in the pelvis and permission for the pleasure to have its way with you and the surrender and trust and resting into the universe that's required for that took me facing so much anger, so much shame, so much fear, so much panic. Oh, everything that's stuck in a woman is stuck in there. Yes. I mean, we've learned, maybe some of your listeners know of David Data, we learned that when the man is pressing against the cervix, like way, way at the back, that it's a very emotional releasing time for women. And she'll get angry out of the blue. She'll get sad out of the blue. She'll get panicked out of the blue because there's a lot of energy stuck there. And if a man is willing to not take it personally and just be with her through time, that's what gets released. So as we dance and we breathe and we focus on our tailbone or focus on our pelvis and we release this in sacred dance, what will happen is this emotion will come up. We don't have to understand it. We just need to witness it, dance it, release it, and then underneath it is a wonderful wisdom.
Nice.
That leads to not just orgasms, which are a great icing on the cake. It leads to confidence. It leads to magnetism. It leads to self-worth. It leads to peace.
Yeah, an inner joy.
For no reason.
You know, I find that a lot of women are uncomfortable talking about sex. How do you help women get past like they can't say clitoris or vagina, or they want to call it a thing. I remember I did a workshop where I called it a yoni, and 5 women came up to me after the seminar. What was the thing you called that? And I said, you mean your vagina? It's called a yoni.
Yeah.
So how do you help women relax with the terminology? Because if they can't even say the word, how are they going to tell their partner what they like and what they don't like?
Well, the first thing is to be able to say it. I know in my live webcast, I have a show called Permission for Pleasure on Mom TV, and the women come on and they don't even say sex. They go sex. And then they're like tweeting about me. She said masturbation. Oh my God. So I've hosted a lot of videos for the Sinclair Institute. I'm their host of their sex education videos. So I've said fellatio 36 times in a day and cunnilingus 25 times in a day. And I've held dildos. I mean, I've had to do everything. So I'm so over it, right? But what I think we want to recognize here is not to get them to say it, just to feel, to do it so they can talk about it. We want to address the why. And the why is about shame. And the why is about fear of rejection. And the why is about, is it okay to be me? Yeah. Okay? So those are the depth of things underneath. So when I do private sessions as a coach, which I encourage all people to have a session with me so you can easily, effortlessly, and quickly release those shame things. Yes. Because we never override something. It's like, here we have an ice cream cone of poo. And we put ice cream on top of the poo and think it's fine. It's not. There's still poo in there, okay? So, like, we can't go, just say masturbation 10 times and do 5, affirmations and you'll be fine.
Right.
No, that's on top of the shame, guilt, fear.
Yes.
So what I do as a very extraordinary coach is I take them and we face that together. We're not meant to do it alone. We're not on the planet alone. We're on the planet together. So I take them and together we make it okay to feel ashamed.
Nice.
We make it okay to be afraid until that part of us calms down. It just wants to be heard and validated. And then we listen to it. And it's got some great concerns. And then the higher self comes in and addresses it and makes it feel safe. And then once that happens, it dissolves. It's like we bring a part of us home. And this confidence we're seeking on the outside just is us. So that's how I do it. And then from there, we go into getting to know our bodies. And as soon as we know our bodies, we can then share with others about our bodies. Because our bodies are different one time of the month than another time of the month. So that's up to us to learn and then to share.
And what's your feeling about teaching children about their bodies? You have a young boy. What do you do as a mom? Like, do you show him his penis and say, this is a penis? And
no, he'll show you.
He's like, Mommy, look.
Last night after baseball practice, I work out while he's doing baseball practice, and we both come home, we have a shower together, we go to bed. So when he sees my breasts these days, I don't know why, he's like, breasts! And he comes up, he wants to touch them. He's like, just touch. And I'm like, and so I'm like checking in, right? I go, so how's that make you feel? He's like, safe. And I'm like, oh, because he remembers breastfeeding as a child, right? It just makes him feel safe. So I just tell him that's no problem, and we just do this at home.
Nice.
And if he plays with his penis while we're reading a book or something like that, I just, briefly I just say, that's totally fine, honey. Your penis is beautiful, and it's yours, and no one else is allowed to touch it. And I would prefer you just play with it at home. And if we have guests, it's just your special time to play in your room.
Nice.
Nothing on it. It's just I want him to function in society, but I don't want him to ever have shame about what's beautiful and God-given.
Yes.
And, when we start to have the sexual conversations, I'll talk to him about it, because I believe my purpose on the planet, I have probably a lot, but is to bring the sacredness back to sexuality, and understanding that sensuality is not just about sex. It's about letting life force flow through us such that we are touched and moved to tears when we have a piece of chocolate. It's like so extraordinary. Or the way the light comes through the window and touches my son's hair and it illuminates, and I'm just like, I get to be a mom. Like, it's a sensual experience where we are experiencing God itself as us manifest in the world. That's sensuality, and that's sacred. And that's found in our body and in our senses, not in our strategies and in our mind. So when the time comes, I'll teach my son what I know. I know. I just told him yesterday. No, this morning. You are going to make somebody, you're going to be a great husband. And he was putting his tie on. He had pictures today. And he goes, how do you know, Mom? And I said, I know.
I love this. So let me ask you something. When you're on a date, do you have a tendency to have sex on the first date? Do you have certain
If he's really hot, yeah.
rules? Really? I don't know. Well, because, some women have this whole, no, I have to date him 3 times. Some have this, no, we have to wait till we're married. Some are like, let's hit it and quit it right now on the first date because I have to check it out. What's your feeling on that?
I'm not God.
Okay.
Everybody has their truth. Every woman knows inside when it feels honoring, and every woman knows inside what it feels like when we feel like a piece of meat.
Yes.
So you need to learn your own boundaries. I'm not here to preach to anybody. If some people want to wait till marriage, good on you. If somebody feels in and says, I trust this man, I choose to gift my divine temple to him in the sexual act tonight, and I just met him, great. I'm not here to judge anybody. All I'm here to do is say, you want to be honored. You want to remember that your body is a temple. You want to remember, am I doing this to get attention? And afraid that if I don't, then he won't call me again. Those aren't good reasons to do it. But there's nothing better about a woman that waits. Just like there's nothing better about a mother that stays home or works. Like, it's an individual choice. And I empower women to own their choices, claim their choices. Because when we live our truth, that's when we're the best for all we love.
Yes, we are.
And when we live out of obligation for others, that's when we're a disservice to the world.
I love it. So when we come back, we're going to speak more to Allana Pratt regarding her telesummit. It is called Sexy, Soulful, and Rich.